Oh my goodness, that debate was so much better than I was expecting it to be. I think I owe all of my viewers an apology for how just how wrong I was in my prediction. If you watched my video yesterday, you saw me predict that Harris was going to be just going to steamroll Pence. I thought that's going to happen. Joker steamrolling over Bruce Banner, but without the Hulk. But oh lordy, boy oh boy was I wrong, and I have never in my life been so happy to be so wrong. Last night was glorious, and it was so satisfying to watch Pence destroy and pummel Kamala Harris into the ground. Okay, so before we get into my breakdown of last night's debate, I want to ask that all of you take this time to go hit that subscribe button. My analytics page tells me that 70% of you are not yet subscribed. Shame on you. So if you like my content, go ahead and do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button at the top of the page. I don't have a marketing team or a big fancy studio. I'm literally just a dude trying to share whatever information that I think is important. So if you want to help me combat false narratives floating around the social media sphere, if you want to help me get bigger than Joe Rogan by the end of next week, share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in watching. Now, on to the glorious breakdown of last night's debate. And it was absolutely glorious. There were I was watching Twitter and Facebook all last night during the debate. I was live tweeting, and there were so many people tweeting out, man, Mike Pence is so polite, he could slide a knife in between my ribs, and I would thank him for doing so. And that's pretty. That goes to show just how awesome of a debater Mike Pence is. And I'm not gonna lie, I was wrong. Kamala Harris is not a great debater. She was horrible last night. First question was about COVID, and she just lied about it. She just lied about it. She does. I'm becoming continually convinced that the Biden administration does not know anything, or the Biden team, I should say. The Biden team does not know anything about what's going on with COVID right now, right? So she said that 200,000 Americans are dead because Donald Trump's campaign administration downplayed coronavirus. No. In order to make that claim, you'd have to say that he knew how deadly it was going to be. And that's not true, which is what she said. She said they knew how serious this was, and they downplayed it anyway. That is a literal false claim on Kamala Harris's part. So first question, she's already lying right out of the gate. And I was furious. And then she told Pence to stop playing politics with people's lives, even though that's literally what she did all night. Everything out of her mouth was a lie. Kamala Harris is a snake. And Pence the whole night debated masterfully. You don't have to like the guy. His debate performance was phenomenal. French kiss. Mwah. It was beautiful. Right? And then she, a little bit later, she started talking about about Trump's taxes and how he's in debt $400 million. And it's like, okay, you're a politician. You know how this works. Every presidential candidate ever is in debt to someone, usually multiple people. So Kamala Harris talking about how Trump is in debt as if no former presidential candidate has owed anyone anything is completely devoid of logical thinking, not to mention detached from reality. It's ridiculous, right? It was crazy. And then she kind of swiveled back to COVID and says Trump doesn't believe in science. And says, oh, great, the good old reliable. It's about as effective as Trump is a racist. And then right on cue, as soon as she was challenged, Joker laugh, super awkward, uncomfortable, blood curdling Joker laugh. And really her only smart responses were along the lines of, this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. Yeah, but she wasn't telling fact or truth about anything. Anything. It even went so far to lie about Joe Biden's stances on taxes. She said he's been extremely clear that Joe Biden does not want to raise taxes. And it's like, he really hasn't been clear on anything. And as we're about to see, that's just a lie. Let me pull up this video real quick. So, like I said, she said he has been very clear about that in not wanting to raise taxes. Like I said, he has not been clear about anything. And one of the few things that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have in common is that they want to raise taxes. So let's swap on over to the YouTubes.
Folks, the middle class and working folks have been left behind. Go back to your old neighborhoods. Go back to your neighborhoods. Ask yourself the question. For the first time in the life of anyone in this room, no matter how old you are, America is no longer as the wealthiest middle class in the world. We're no longer the wealthiest. How many of you did really well with that $1.9 trillion tax cut that increased? Really good shape, right? Really changed your, well, you did. Well, that's good. I'm glad to see you're doing well already. And I'm good. But guess what? If you elect me, you're not going to have your taxes are going to be raised, not cut, if you benefit from that.
Let's go, Joe! Let's go, Joe! This is what we deserve!
So there's Joe being super awkward on taxes as per usual. And so, like I said, I was live tweeting this all night. It was so much fun. And after the taxes swiveled back to COVID, this good old reliable, and she actually blamed Trump for the economic collapse caused by the shutdowns that he didn't even want to do and that she advocated for. Ugh. It was crazy. She advocated for these shutdowns, and that's what led to this economic collapse. Oh. Man, oh man. And he Pence attacked her. Just went straight for the throat. And as I tweeted last night, Pence has Harris running with her tail between her legs, and I'm loving it. I was not expecting him to deliver such a strong presence. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. A Joe Biden administration will absolutely begin the destruction of the American economy, right? They want to, per the Green New Deal, which the Biden administration has been flip-floppy on, to say the least. But it's on their website. So it's on their website. But last night, Kamala said, Joe will not end fracking, which is weird because he's literally on video stating he wants to end fracking. And the Green New Deal calls to end fracking. So I'm a little confused. What is the Biden stance on fracking? Does he want to ban it or not? Oh, good Lord. I remember I had this massive list of questions that I wanted Pence to ask. Is your running mate a sexual harasser and quasi-racist? He didn't ask that one. I was kind of bummed about that one. However, he did ask, will your administration support court packing? He asked this question like half dozen times, and she just wouldn't answer it. She just deflected. And it was very obvious to tell how uncomfortable she was in the presence that Pence brought to the stage. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. As far as I remember, there wasn't anything about Antifa or anything like that, so I was a little bummed about that. But oh my gosh, last night was phenomenal. Kamala Harris just had lie after lie after lie, and Pence was just like not having any of it. Pence was not having any of it. Someone, I don't know who, but they made this meme. I don't even remember where I got it. Probably like Caleb Hull or something like that. But it tweeted out, Kamala Harris trying to lie, and then boom, Mike Pence just ramming right through. And this was pretty much the whole night. The entire debate was this right here. There was a pretty funny moment a little while into the debate where Pence just sat there for like 2 straight minutes just taking notes, writing something down, and a fly landed on his head. And so within the hour of the debate ending, the Biden administration released fly swatters on their campaign site, and they sold 15,000 of them. Last night's debate was phenomenal. Everything about last night's debate was phenomenal. So then, okay, so back up to the fracking issue. Back on the fracking issue. She said that she's not in favor of banning fracking. She said she's not in favor of banning fracking, but like she's on video. Just a few.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yeah, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. Yeah, so thank you.
Oh my gosh, Kamala Harris taking every side on every issue under the sun. Good grief. Every side on every issue. Senator Rand Paul, probably one of the best tweets of the night. Somebody is mad that @real Donald Trump didn't start any wars and wants to leave the ones we are in. Vote Biden Harris if you want more endless wars. Fact check true. The Kamala Harris attacked Pence and Trump on ending the Iran nuclear deal because some people, and I don't understand why, some people are still under the impression that the Iran nuclear deal was a good deal. It wasn't. It was awful. The Iran nuclear deal gave the Iranians pallets of cash to extend their terrorist reach and to build their terrorist regime and build their terrorist organizations around the world and to build their nuclear weapons to use for terrorism. And I tweeted this much last night. The Iran nuclear deal was a garbage deal. They gave millions of dollars to terrorists to build their terrorist reach around the world and use nuclear weapons for terrorism on the promise that they wouldn't develop nuclear weapons for 10 years. A promise. That's it. That's all we got from them, and the Obama administration shipped them pallets of cash. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. The Iran nuclear deal gave pallets of cash to a terrorist regime in exchange for a promise to halt production on their nuclear deals. Who in their right mind would trust a terrorist regime and then give them millions of dollars? Oh. So the fact that Kamala Harris is actually under the impression that the Iran nuclear deal was a good deal, it just goes to show how crazy she is. And she is. She's absolutely crazy. And you could see that in her reactions last night to all of the statements that Pence made. Like, as far as I could tell, Pence didn't really make any false statements. And I was paying pretty close attention. He didn't really make any just overtly false statements. And every time Kamala Harris was just like, her reaction, her smug attitude towards him was awful. She reacted no better than Biden during the debate. She was lying, her smug reactions, attacking Trump. And Pence may not have been super exciting, but like at least he was being factual. Yeah, and then she made the insane statement that Joe Biden would hold Russia accountable. So this just goes to show again how insane she is and how out of touch with reality she is. She said Joe Biden would hold Russia accountable. Right, as if Obama wasn't caught on an open mic pledging the Russians more flexibility after the election. This is extreme gaslighting. There's no other way to put it. This is gaslighting. She is lying to the American people in order to forward her political goals. And that's all she's ever done for her entire political career. And she needs to be exposed for the evil. There's no other way to put it. She needs to be exposed for the evil person that she is. And I'm not sure how she can reconcile openly lying about every issue under the sun to further her political gains with being a person of faith. Right? She said I would never knock someone for their faith, talking about Amy Coney Barrett. Except she literally did that last week to Amy Coney Barrett for being of the Catholic faith. Literally knocked her for being of the Catholic faith. And she said, Joe Biden and I are both people of faith. It's like, faith in what? The federal government? You're not a person of faith? Ugh. Speaking of Amy Coney Barrett, like I said, Biden asked her over and over and over again, at least a half dozen times, are you going to pack the court? And she never answered it. She just never answered it. We went on for like, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes maybe, where she just kind of sat there and then tried to talk. And she mentioned something about Abraham Lincoln not not filling a Supreme Court seat in his last election year because he's old, honest Abe. It's like, no. That's not what happened at all. So again, we catch her in this lie. Now, Abraham Lincoln didn't fill that seat because Congress was in recess until December. And then when they got back, he nominates this Supreme Court justice, and he's accepted that same day. It's like, what are you even talking about? So she's a liar. She's insane. She doesn't know history. And then we catch her in this statement. So finally we get to the whole Antifa thing. So I was wrong at the beginning. She did talk a little bit about Antifa. Pence brought it up. Good on you, Pence. She said, I will never condone violence, but we must fight. Sounds an awful lot like you're condoning violence there, Kamala. I will never condone violence, but we must fight. Sounds like you're condoning violence. And just like the whole this was the whole night. Just dragged on and on and on like this. And a lot of it was fantastic. Pence just absolutely steamrolled her. She at one point and she literally admitted to being a narc. She brought up her own record as being district attorney in California. It's like, girl, this is not going to play well for you. This is not the look you think it's going to have. And Mike pulled up this record in question. Is like, so one of the people I follow on Twitter, the redheaded libertarian, tweets, Mike just pulled a Tulsi. And it was fantastic. If you remember during the primaries, Tulsi Gabbard ripped her to shreds over her record as district attorney. Put like something like 1,900 people in prison for marijuana violations. Oh. So yeah, there's my reaction to last night's debate. It was phenomenal. It was fun to watch. It was Mike Pence obviously won that debate. He was a classy fact machine last night. Yeah, and Kamala Harris just sat there and just kind of took it. She was rolled over. So, that all being said, well done, Mike Pence, for crushing Kamala Harris. I think this will do some damage to their campaign. I don't think it'll be enough to make up for the ground that Donald Trump has lost over the last couple of weeks, but it was sure fun to watch. Thank you for watching this video. Like I said at the beginning, hit that like and subscribe button. I could sure use your help. And I will see you here tomorrow.